Hey there, thanks for tuning in. This is the Tammy Tine Design YouTube channel. I'm Tammy, and today I'm creating a one-page layout with two photos. The papers I'll be using today include this basic gray paper called Stoked from the Hang 10 collection. I don't remember the year, but this one isn't even double-sided, but it makes me really happy to finally get this on a layout. I also have this paper from Jen Hadfield's Live and Let Grow collection. This is the B side to Pansies. I pulled it out of my scrap drawer, so it's not a full sheet. I'll be using this to make a pocket on my layout. Here are the photos I'll be scrapbooking today. I have one 6x4 photo in a portrait orientation, and then I have one 4x4 square photo. I do have memorabilia to add to this layout, so I've already pulled that and have it here on my desk. And another feature will be repeating some elements in the background. My plan is to create a pocket with this blue paper, and I'll be layering tags behind it. I have a variety of different tags here. Two of these came from an ephemera pack that I want to use on this layout, and that's what really inspired the design for this page. The collection I'm talking about is Simply the Best from Pink Fresh. I have this cardstock flare set here. This is more of a masculine collection, and I think it pairs well back to this rugged basic gray paper. I cut the rest of the tags with a metal die set from Hero Arts. These tags will be layered up and repeat in the background behind the blue paper. I'm going to decorate the tags with all kinds of random die cuts. I pulled a ton of die cuts and ephemera. Oh, and here is the memorabilia I'll be adding. I saved this coaster and flight card from the day we went to this tap house in Tarpon Springs. The flight card is right there in the photo, so I'm glad that I was able to put my hands on these, and I'll be adding them to this layout. Some of the things in my bowl here are really old. There are elements from Simply the Best, and there's some print shop here from Vicky Booten, and both of these collections are newer. I still have some cards from Autumn Leaves, and there are flashcards. That one that says 24/7 and today are flashcards from Jilly Bean Soup, but they won't make it on the layout. I also have several different shaped tags. I think I have the die set right here. Here's the tags that I used from Hero Arts for the main tags that I cut. And then I cut a variety of shapes with these dies from Sizzix. I want to do some cluster building on each of the tags, so I used some of the scraps from the papers I cut the main tags with. I love this design for using up random bits and pieces and embellishments. And using tags will give all of these embellishments a home. Everything will not just be floating on the page. The tags will help organize all of the pieces and give it a cohesive look. I'm going to clear off my desk and go make my background pocket, and I'll be right back. Okay, I've already glued down my papers, the photos, and my title, which is all about beer. I've always preferred beer over wine, but Michael is a craft beer guy. When we met, I was introduced to a whole different world of beer. And there was a bit of a learning curve. So that's what this page is about, me learning all about beer. We'll come back to this background once I get the tags built. I have my tags lined up. There are two different sizes. I did ink around the edges of all of these tags with walnut stain distress ink. I will use this flare set from Pink Fresh. I'm just cutting off the top so I can slide the flare in and out of the plastic sleeve easier, and then I'll set it aside for now. I'm going to take all of these die cuts out of my bowl and spread them out on my table to see what I have. I didn't really have a plan for how to build these tags. I'm going to start adding things in assembly line fashion. I certainly won't use all of the stuff I pulled, and not all of these tags will fit on my layout once they're embellished. But I wanted to just build them all and then decide what will fit later. It looks like the pile of die cuts is kind of out of the frame, but you'll see everything as I continue to stack things up. I am trying to keep contrast in mind and adding die cuts and ephemera that contrast or have a different color than the tag and the other elements. Creating this kind of tag collage is a great way to use up leftover bits and pieces. Everything I pulled helps reinforce the theme of the layout. One tag says, "This gives me life." My husband definitely feels that way about craft beer. Another says, "Instant mood booster." I love the lucky day tag that looks like an old hotel keychain. You'll see I'm already starting to glue some of the elements together. I'm getting better about gluing as I go so that I don't spend so much time fussing and moving pieces around only to move them back. With so many different pieces here, I didn't want to spend a lot of time making decisions. I've noticed that I'm embracing tags again. I've added them to several layouts recently. Tags were really big back in the early and mid 2000s. I attended Creating Keepsakes University events back in the day, and I remember we all made tags and exchanged them with each other while we were standing in lines. I used to have a ton of embellished tags, and I did add them to my layouts. But I kind of got away from that. I'll use a tag here and there, but it's only been recently that I've started to use them as a feature on my layout, like I am here, and doing it intentionally and repeating multiple tags on the same layout. It's so funny how these things come back around. When I was pulling my basic gray paper, I did find a Pyrus sticker collection sheet that I thought had colors that would coordinate with these tags. I'm using one of the border stickers and a few of the element stickers here. I never was one to use up a sticker sheet on one layout, but after all these years of keeping things and rarely using them again, I do see the value of adding more sometimes. My instinct is to just add the one thing that looks good on what I'm working on, but I should be trying to use as much as I can because if you don't use it, you have to store it. And if you don't want to store the stuff forever, use it up. I'm adding a few of the Pink Fresh flare tags, and I will add a few more to the layout when we get there. I also pulled several different sticker sheets. I'm using these to fill in spots with words and phrases. I still have quite a few of these Seven Gypsy stickers. I also have some Tim Holtz snarky stickers, and I'm adding more words and phrases. Why limit happy to an hour? Why indeed? That one is definitely going on a tag. Life was meant for a great adventure. That's another one I really like. And Let Life Surprise You will also end up on one of my tags. Like I said before, adding all of this stuff to tags gives it a home. Yes, it's pretty busy and there's a lot going on here, but everything is also grounded to the tag. Everything is contained and it's not floating around. Every once in a while, I'd like to create a page like this to give me a chance to use a lot of stuff up in one shot. I think these tags look pretty good. I want to bring back in my layout so that I can start arranging these tags. I'm going to place the bigger ones first and then fill in with the smaller ones. I mentioned before that I glued the blue paper down to the page pocket style, so there's plenty of room behind it to add tags and my journaling. There's already so much going on with this page that the journaling will go in the pocket. I will use a couple of different Project Life journaling cards to capture it. At this point, I'm realizing that not all of these tags are going to fit. I know that I want to bring in that tag that says instant mood booster, and I'll add that below the tags with a paper clip. I'm trying to figure out if there are other places on the layout where I could fit in a tag. I do end up adding one behind my photo with the guest check. That super cute guest check piece came from Vicky Booten's print shop papery pack. So these photos were taken on March 16th, 2020. Michael and I had been dating for about a month, and he wanted to go on a day trip to Tarpon Springs. We both took our cameras and wandered around the village there, and there were other people out and about like us, but it was oddly quiet. When we stopped at this tap house, it was empty. The bartender was saying business had dried up and they weren't sure how much longer they would be open. We knew something was coming, that people were starting to social distance, but we live in the Orlando area. We thought there was no way Disney was going to shut down. The very next day, I found out I wasn't going back to the office. We were working from home until further notice. Later in the week, Michael's work closed, Disney and Universal closed, and the lockdown was officially upon us. It's good that we had this one last normal day before the world shut down. I turned the page to glue the tags down. I'm trying to make sure that whatever is on the tag can be seen as much as possible, but some parts of these tags will get covered up. I've been trying various embellishments. The pink fresh glitter drops didn't really work. The Tim Holtz flatback pearls, I didn't like how that looked. I will end up bringing out some gold dots instead. For now, I pulled out a bag of old school prong brads. A lot of these came from Basic Gray. I'm just going through here to see if I can find a style that might look good with everything I have going on with this layout. I do like this six petal flower. It has a navy background with white petals. The colors definitely work. I know there are three in this bag, so I'm going to grab my piercing tool and just make the holes now and commit them without any fuss. This will give me 3 points on the layout that I can come back to and add enamel dots to later. Do you still have these pronged brads? I have more than I care to admit, and I don't use them all that much. I do like the new brads that are flat back stickers. There's nothing wrong with these, so eventually I'll use them up or just donate them. I'm not a fan of getting these pages with prong brads in and out of page protectors. I suppose I could tape the prongs down or add a small piece of cardstock over the top, but I usually forget to do that. The next thing I'm going to do is add more of the pink fresh flare. I noticed that I used a phrase tag that says time well spent. It also came from that same Simply the Best collection. It's kind of a red color, and I don't have that color anywhere else on my layout. So I added it with the chipboard flare, and that gives me another visual triangle with that red color. In my stash, I found that documented tab. It's perfect to go over the photo, but I have no idea where it came from. I pulled out these matte gold enamel dots from Pink Fresh, and these will be perfect. You may notice that the brads I added have a silver finish. Once upon a time, I never mixed metals. If I had silver on my layout, I would only add more silver, no mixing. But now, I just don't care about that anymore. I mix gold and silver all the time. To each his own, though. If you don't want to mix metals on the same layout, I totally get it. I will add some more enamel dots after I finish filming. I have that cute 2 by 2 square card that has a place for the date. How are you about dating your layouts? I must confess that I forget to do it at least half the time. But adding a card like this helps me remember. I just trimmed off the top and bottom so that it can fit in that space. And then I added a paper clip to help draw some attention to the top. Another thing I will do at the end when my layout is mostly done is add glue to all of the corners of the photos and anything else that feels loose. And that's where I will call this one done. The next time you have some leftover bits and pieces and want to use them all in one shot, try this layout design. The pieces are contained and not floating around, and the tags add some character and interest in the background. I will leave a link in the description box below to a free sketch of my completed layout. See you next time.